Now, where should we place Marx? Commonly, Marx is considered a state socialist A, whom anarchists called authoritarian. It is true that many Marxists fit that description, but Marx himself was different. His idea of socialism clearly came from Proudhon. For instance, even in Communist Manifesto 1848, Marx called communism a free association. Also, he cooperated with Proudhonists and supported the Paris Commune, which was conceived and carried out by Proudhonists. Moreover, Marx fiercely attacked the Gotha program, which was inspired by the state socialist Lassalle. Likewise, while he constantly criticized Proudhon, since his early days, Marx consistently inherited Proudhon's ideas in his approach to socialism. However, the problem lies precisely here. According to Proudhon, the state is supposed to die away when economic class oppositions disappear and true democracy is realized. He did not understand that the state has its own autonomy. Actually, Marx inherited this attitude from Proudhon. This is why Marx approved of Blanqui's strategy of taking power temporarily in order to abolish capitalist economy and class society by means of proletarian dictatorship. It's not because Marx was a statist that he aimed at grasping state power. He did consider state power to be indispensable in order to truly change capitalist society. He also believed that when the capitalist economy and class society was superseded by means of state power, the state would wither away automatically. Therefore, the problem with Marx is not statism, but rather anarchism, which fails to recognize the autonomy of the state. To make matters worse, Marx was also optimistic about the future of ethnic problems. He expected that ethnic differences would be wiped out by the penetration of world capitalism. This optimism did not become a problem during his lifetime, since Marx was never so influential in actual movement. Marx's shortcomings were later exposed in an amplified way by those Marxists who took power. As a result, Marxist movements were transformed into something akin to state socialism. Also, they always stumbled when it comes to matters of nationalism and ended up either giving into fascism or advocating nationalism by themselves. How did this all happen? Before 1870, the advocates of socialism were mainly artisan workers who were anarchists with a staunchly independent mind and a distaste for organization. However, at the time of industrialization in the late 19th century, this tradition came to an end. Therefore, in the 20th century, even anarchists turned to syndicalism based upon labor unions. Generally speaking, anarchists are more rebels than revolutionaries. They love the revolutionary fate, but tend to lack the patience to deal with political, economic issues. They detest organizations and authority and refuse to participate in the elections on the ground that they take part in the state. It is understandable that those who became tired of such libertarian socialism turned to state socialism, A, or welfare state capitalism, B. Actually, since the late 19th century, socialism was divided into two lines. One was social democracy, welfare statism, represented by Bernstein, who was a legal successor of Engels. And the other was Marxism, Bolshevism, represented by Lenin. The latter came to have an overwhelming influence as a result of the Russian Revolution of 1917, but eventually turned into state socialism, Stalinism, which brought about a disillusionment with socialism itself. This was because the state, which Lenin thought would disappear after the proletarian dictatorship, was actually strengthened to the maximum through the bureaucratic system. As a criticism to this movement to revive the young Marx of Proudhon, namely libertarian socialism, came out in the early 1960s. However, as I have previously mentioned, along with the decline of state socialism, libertarian socialism also declined. Now it appears that social democracy remains as only possibility, with shades of the spectrum from left wing to right wing, depending on the place and time. This can only mean the survival of the Borromean ring of capital nation state. The prospect to go beyond this will not come about from the movement I have described. The fundamental reason for this is their historical failure to grasp the fact that capitalist economy, nation-state exists as an interdependent structure. Such recognition was missing in 1848, not to mention in 1968. Neither Marx nor Proudhon was aware of this. When this the Trinity of capital nation-state come to be established, we can see this in the beginning of the French Revolution that started in 1789. For instance, they advocated the slogan of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Liberty in this case meant the abolishment of various feudalistic systems, which was realized in the beginning of the revolution. Equality meant equality of wealth, which was pursued by Jacobins at the national conventions started in 1792. This came to the end shortly with backlash, Thermidor. But the idea of redistribution of wealth by the state remained and was further pursued by communists or state socialists like Babeuf. Meanwhile, fraternity, which originally meant the association of citizens beyond ethnicity or language, came to mean people of the French nation in the time of Napoleon. Through such a process, the idea of liberty, equality, and fraternity was transformed into the capital nation state. The socialism in France was born to pursue the equality and fraternity aborted in the French Revolution. As I mentioned, there appeared two types of socialism. One is state socialism as an heir to Jacobinism. The other is Proudhon, who entirely negated Jacobinism. Meanwhile, in Germany, which was economically and politically backward, no revolution occurred politically, but only on the level of philosophy. But it was no less important.